Thank you so much for having me today. When Laura asked me to speak about 6 weeks ago, I thought, I have no idea what to say. So I've been praying about what to say, that God just used me to share a little bit about my life and hoping that it'll help each and every one of you. But thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm very busy these days, so I thank my boss for allowing me to come out and speak to you. So my topic is going to be hidden jewels, women that are the real deal. Right now we have a lot of stuff that we're inundated with on the media. You got, the Kardashians running. You got Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I love that show. Did y'all watch the reunion yesterday? Woo-wee. Okay. So anyway, we'll come back to that later. But anyway, hidden jewels. I'm going to start with this quote. Do we have my PowerPoint slide? Let me see. All right. This is just the truth, and I want everybody here to know this. No matter what your past has been, you have a spotless future. You truly do. So whatever happened yesterday, a year ago, 10 years ago, you got to stop dwelling on it. Let's just erase it and move forward. So I'm asking each and every one of you, what's your goal in life, okay? And when I ask a lot of people that, these are the three most things that they usually say. This is my three highly answered questions in terms of what they say. I say, what do you want to achieve in life? They say, well, I want to start a company. I want a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I want to be healthy. And then I ask the question, why? They said, well, I want to retire early. Second person says, well, I want a soulmate. And then the third person says, I want to run faster. And then I ask the question again, why? Think about your own goals. Why? First person told me, well, I want to spend more time with my family. Second person said, well, I want to get married. I want to find my soulmate so I can get married. And the third person said, well, I'm thinking about running a marathon. And I said, why? And it comes down to this. Whatever it is you have, some of you guys want to finish school. Some of you guys want to get married. Some of you guys want to lose some weight. Whatever it is. When I get blank, I will be happy. Or when I achieve blank, I will be happy. That's how we're programmed to think, right? It's what society tells us. If we're driving the nice car, we got that good-looking man, we could Facebook all the things our man does for us, right? We'll be happy, right? That's what we're looking for. All of us just want to be happy. Do y'all remember this thing? They showed this to me when I was in social studies back in the 80s. That'll tell you, started school a long time ago. But this right here is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? So you got your basic needs here, all right? So you got food, shelter, water, safety, love. And once you get into this right here is where most of us are at, green line and up, right? Because y'all are in college now, so you've got these, you can't even really be in college unless you have these two boxes filled, pretty much. So the goal in life is to go up that scale, because everybody wants to be at the very, very end. And that's where happiness really is at the very top of that scale. So these are three types of happiness. I broke it down for you. The first kind is pleasure. It's chasing a high, being a rock star. I want to tell you about this weekend, right? So me and my girlfriends, we go out, it's her birthday. And, so one of the girls was like, just act like we're VIP and let's just walk right in. And, and it's like a huge line. It's at Marvin's on U Street. So, it's a huge line. It's 11:30. So we're like walking up, acting like we belong in there. And we said, yeah, that guy down there, Bobby, because we found out what the other bouncer's name was because one of the other girls was flirting with him. So we got in free, all VIP. So that was pretty cool. So I thought, that's interesting. So that's chasing a high. And then later on that night, we had another friend. We knew a DJ. We got in VIP, so we're at, Capitol over on K Street, dancing it up over there. But that's chasing the high. After that night was fun, we all talked about it, but it's over. Sunday morning, I still had to get up, look at my child crying and I still had to come back and be mom and all those. So those things are temporary. So I call that chasing a high, being just a rock star for a moment. It only lasts for so long and then it goes away. And then there's passion, right? Have you ever been a part of something or did something and then time flew by? I don't know what it is that you like to do, but there's something you like to do and the time just goes by and you're like, wow, man, I didn't realize I was talking about that thing for like 2 or 3 hours. That's passion. That's something that's in you, that drives you. it's, a lot of athletes refer to that being in the zone, okay? And so that's passion. You have something that you like, and that's a second type of happiness. That's a little bit more sustainable, but it's not all the way there. The third type of happiness is really the type that sustains us, which is a higher purpose, something bigger than yourself that has meaning to you. Now, I didn't really understand. I'm gonna come back. It's Mother's Day weekend this Sunday, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about my mom, because this is where I'm gonna bring in the purpose. So I'm gonna be tying this. I'm all over the board today, so you guys are just gonna have to roll with me. Is that okay? All right. So, higher purpose, something bigger than yourself that has meaning to you. This right here, this WOW event, this has purpose. This is something bigger than any one of us, right? It's bringing us together. So those are the types of things that carry you on to an everlasting happiness. So ask yourself today, are you working towards maximizing your happiness each day? What are your values? What are you passionate about? What is your goal in life? What is your higher purpose? When you walk away with purpose, you collide with your destiny. So I'm going to talk, okay, I work at a bank, so I work around people that have a lot of money, right? And, so I see a lot of business owners, and I see a lot of people that just have a lot of money, and they're doing really well. If they're not doing very well, we kind of just, I don't work in that division. I work in the division that has, that you see a lot of successful entrepreneurs. And, I started reading books about millionaire woman next door, and I started reading all these success, women this, women that. And interestingly enough, one of my favorite books is called The Millionaire Woman Next Door. And it wasn't I really didn't realize this, but my mother is this person. I'm out here looking for all these examples of what I need to be like in life, and my mom is sitting here as this millionaire, and this is who needs to be my role model. I don't need to look for anybody else. So I'm going to tell you someone named Hyunju Ortiz. Okay, Hyunju came here when she was 22 years old. Okay, she married a black man in Korea. She got pregnant. He decided to marry her, and he brought her back to the United States. So she came here in 1978 with $30. Okay, today she has 4 cars, all paid for. She's never had a car note in her life. Okay, she bought my dad a car. Brand new car, but she's never even had a new car. But she bought my dad a new car because, she loved him. He wanted a little SUV, so she got it for him. She has a strip mall she paid cash for. She has rental duplexes. And the funny thing is I'm telling you about a woman, this is all she got, is a beauty license. She didn't even come to this country, she could barely even speak English that well. Y'all would have to say, what did your mom just say? I mean, seriously. She can't even speak English and write the way we write. She came here, and basically my dad was in the military, and so we had all these people coming to our house constantly because my mom was doing hair for money. And so he said, if you don't get a beauty license, I'm about to get kicked out of the military. So we're going to need to do this because all these people coming and going, they're going to think we have a drug operation going or something. And so he told her if she didn't get a beauty license, he was going to divorce her. So she went and got her beauty license, but she had to read English first, so she had to go and get a GED, and after she got her GED, she went and got a beauty license. She opened up her first beauty salon, paid rent, didn't buy it, and then after a while, she bought it, after about 2 years. And then the beauty salon, or the space next to her, was available, and she said, how much is that? And they said, well, the guy's trying to get out of it, so we'll sell the business condo for $20,000. She had $20,000 cash, she bought it. And then 3 years later, the side on the left came open. And she said, well, how much is that? They said, about $25,000. She had $40,000 in the bank. She bought that. Cash. Long story short, year after year, she ended up buying the entire strip mall. So now she owns the entire strip center. This is a beautician we're talking about. This is somebody that, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. And then after she did that, so now I just helped her get some 10 acres of land finance, so we're trying to figure out, we're going to put some commercial stuff on this land. So that's my project. But anyway, so then, she, this is all she has in debt today. She has $50,000 on the apartment complex. It's a 40-unit apartment complex, and she has $20,000 on the land she just bought 4 years ago, the 10 acres. She has $70,000 in debt. She's 57 years old. She was able to retire at age 50. My mom broke her wrist in an accident, and she decided just because she gets so much in rents, why go back to work? You know, she's like, well, you know, I'm doing all right. So, and my dad gets his military retirement. And I'm talking about people, they don't live in a fancy house. My parents don't live in this big, huge house. They don't drive brand new Mercedes, but they have no debt except that $70,000. They don't owe no car payments. They don't owe no house payments. My mom works 40 to 50 hours a week at church for free. She wants to call me, her daughter, and she want to complain about church folk all day. She said, oh, well, that girl, she acts like she's so Christian, but she don't even get 10%. And this girl right over here, she get on my last nerve. She always talk about Jesus is, Jesus, no. She just don't even, you know, and I just saw her doing this and that. My mom is calling me every other day telling me about church folk. And I have to remind him, my mom, I said, Mom, do you realize you don't get paid from this job? She's like, oh, yeah, that's right. I said, yeah, so you don't have to go back. You know that, right? And it's funny, though, because every third day, she's calling me complaining about what these people are doing at church. And I have to remind her that she's retired, that she's there, you know, so she works 40 to 50 hours at church, does mission trips, does all kinds of stuff because she makes money. And it's interesting because the economy didn't really affect her. She's still collecting rents. She's still moving along. You know, and the great thing was I had my daughter 21 months ago. And my mom got to spend a month with me. When my mother comes, she spends 2 or 3 weeks because she's retired, because she set herself up. She made some great decisions. This is all from a beauty license. This is all from a beauty license. This is all from a beauty license. Y'all hear me? This is all from a beauty license. It ain't about going to Harvard. It ain't about driving a Mercedes Benz. It ain't about living in $1 million home. It's not what it's about. It's about living life. My mom gardens every day. You know, the interesting thing was a couple weeks ago, someone jumped the fence because they took off a couple of her crops. You know, she's got tomatoes, she's got all kinds of stuff back there. And she said, you know, oh, well, if they were hungry enough to jump the fence to come and get it, that's fine, they can have it. You know, seriously, I got enough cucumbers back there for myself. So they can go ahead and have it. And that's just the kind of person she is. And that's why I say this is my role model right here. Here I am looking for something to look forward to, and here I have this person at home, and this is my mom. I want to show you, this is from The Millionaire Woman Next Door, the book. I want to show you this. They do, what this book entails is it's got millionaire women, and they survey them all. They look for similar attributes. They look for how may they make decisions. They look for all these different factors. What makes all of these women so successful? What is it? And this was one of my favorite. 5% of them paid this for a house, $448,000, and this is an average of all over the country. 90% of them spent less than $67,000 for a car. 75% of them spent less than $49,000 for a car. 50% of them spent less than $38,000 for a car. So another thing I love is suits, okay? 50% of them spent less than $400 for their suit they're wearing. We watch Kim Kardashian, she's wearing these $10,000 suits. I think the millionaire woman next door. That's not reality, guys. It's not reality. When you look here, you look at a pair of shoes. This is another favorite of mine. 50% of them spent less than $139. I know my mom calls me up talking about, I just bought 2 pairs of shoes for $35, you know, at Marshall's, okay? And TJ Maxx. Come on now. If you're walking to TJ Maxx, chances are you're in line with the millionaire woman next door, okay? 50% of them spent less than $474 or $75 for wristwatches. So 25% of them spent less than $123. So they're not carrying, you know, and it's so funny because my mom is so successful. So last year for Mother's Day, I was like, what do you want, Mom? I don't know. So we usually have to collect our money, us as children, to buy my mom something worthy. So last year, she says, I'm just gonna, for my own self, for my birthday, I'm thinking about buying a Louis Vuitton bag. I said, really? I said, is it gonna be on sale? Are you gonna get a real, just full price Louis Vuitton bag? She goes, thinking about getting a real full price. So we go back and forth. It took my mom a month and a half to make a decision on one Louis Vuitton bag. And that was the first time in her life she ever spent $1,000 for a handbag. And I'm like, Mom, you got a middle six figures in your checking account. I'm not talking about she's got a lot of money in her checking account just sitting there for me to collect eventually. But my whole point is, get yourself a $1,000 bag, girl, come on now. I was excited. And I remember the day like it was yesterday. About 15 years ago, my mom wanted to buy a Corvette, but she bought a used one. She talked the people down. It was supposed to be a $30,000 car. By the time my mom wore the people down, it's a $26,000 car. She's just going to pay cash for it. I don't know, should I get it? And she calls me back 3 weeks, Mom, get the car, Mom. And so she got the car, and she's still driving that same Corvette, running around with this little green Corvette. But I'm like, she just, I come from a family where it wasn't until I was an adult that I ever got a manicure or pedicure, I came from that kind of family. Came from the kind of family that we washed out our sandwich bags inside out, so we reuse them. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Some of y'all don't. We added water to our dishwashing liquid, and you shake it up. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do some of y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay, all right, so y'all don't feel like the weird one up in here. Another thing about the millionaire women, this is what the survey, the author, Dr. Stanley, saw, which was modesty and humility. They never took credit for their own success. They credited a mentor, their family, their friends, their husband, their community. They never took credit. They were all so humble. 68% of them knew exactly how much their family spent for food, clothing, and shelter. Do you know how much you spend annually for food, clothing, and shelter right off the top of your head? I don't. They know exactly. And then they also knew how to calculate net worth, which is this calculation. Asset minus liabilities equals net worth. You got a $100,000 house, you owe $50,000, so your net worth is $50,000. So they knew and understood. Every single one of them knew this. The other thing that was really interesting about the book was they all were engaged with philanthropy. And I was like, wow, this is really my mother. These crazy women are, oh my God. Because I'm thinking, growing up in this house where my mom's penny pinching all the time, I'm thinking that millionaires, they look like the Kardashians, or they look like all these other people we see on TV. That's what a millionaire looks like. No, Real Housewives, that's fake, guys. A lot of these people are in debt. And they're going through so many other things that we don't even see. But the millionaires in the community that go shopping with you, these are some of the attributes. So this is my summary of the millionaire woman next door and women that are the real deal. They get money, okay? They get money doing anything. If you're passionate about something, it's just going to come through. If you are passionate about making socks for, a nursing home, it's going to come through that way. So you're just going to be successful by doing it because you're going to be good at it. So get money doing anything, whether it's attaining a degree that you want to do, whatever it is your passion. What about some of you guys that say, well, I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know what my passion is. This is why I tell all of y'all that just said that. Go do something. And if that don't work, try something else. 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 Until you find out, how do you know what you're good at if you don't try anything? Right? Pay off your debt and don't create new debts. That's what they all did. They all focused on having a strategy to pay off stuff. Save money. And I always ask my mom, how do you have so much money? Like, I don't understand how you are so lucky. And, you always, every time she turns around, she gets, money coming to her. And I'm like, how is that? She says, it's a habit. She said, you know how some people smoke a cigarette and they just got that urge, they need to do that? Or some people, whatever it is, their vice is that they got to go do it. That's how she feels about saving. That's a different space. That's how she feels about saving. It's a habit. Some of y'all have some weird habits. Some of y'all pop your knuckles, bite your nails. If you saved money the way you bite your nails, you'd be pretty rich. So you save money the way you want to shake yourself at the club every weekend. Am I talking to some people in here? I don't know. All right, so it's a habit. Make it a habit. Habit. It takes 3 weeks to form a habit. Be consistent about it. Continue to build equity. I'm going to say this. I know we got white people in the room. It's okay. But blacks versus whites. Enterprise Magazine did a study. We're talking about wealth and the community, okay? The only difference between black Americans and white Americans as pertains to wealth is because they own their own homes. They have equity in their homes. They didn't just go buy a $500,000 house. They bought a $200,000 house. They built some equity. They sold it when the market was good, made some extra money, made a down payment on a bigger house, and then when they stayed in that for a long time, they built some more equity. The market turned good. They sold that house, put some more equity in the new house, and that's how they got to the $500,000 house. So that's something that we have to understand in our community. It just don't happen overnight. It just don't. It does for some people, but for the majority of us, we have to take a step. We got to crawl. We got to walk. We got to run. That's just the formula. It's hard work. It's having goals. It's point A to B to C to D. And, unless you just are an overnight success, which majority of us won't be, you got to do it this way. This is the way my mom did it. This is the way your mom did it. This is the way your grandma did it. This is the way we have to do it. Number 5. Have you ever heard if you're around 5 broke friends, you're going to be the 6th? My pastor used to say that all the time. You around 5 broke people, you're going to be the 6th. You need to be around people that carry the same values. I'm not going to say that have the same money management principles. That's what the book says. I'm going to say values, because if they have the same values, they have the same money management principles, they have the same spiritual sense, they have the same, wanting to get somewhere in life and do something and better themselves. You're around people like that are going to be positive and lift you up. You're going to be better off. And I always look for mentors that are way ahead of me. I always do that. Like, I have people I talk to every day. I talk to a guy, one of my mentors that owns a law firm in Kansas City. I talk to him every morning for an hour. Every morning. And it does nothing but help me better myself. And if you don't have a mentor, you better go find one, a good person, an overall good person that makes good decisions. And mentors are everywhere, because you need someone to pull you up. There's going to be times you just don't know what to do with your situation, and they can just pull you up. So be thinking about these things. And you may be around other people that you can mentor. If you see someone that's struggling along the way, pull them up. Someone took some time to pull you up. You got to give back. It's not all about you. All right, and then we got family. These women, they cared more than anything. They cared so much about their family. Their family was they said, what is the most important thing to you? And all these women said, my family. I want to make sure my grandchildren take care. I want to build trust funds. I want to have money set aside for my family. I want to teach my family money management principles. Every single one of these women put this as the number one thing. Family. That's what they worry most about, is their family being okay after they're gone. And the other thing, the last thing, was they all were involved with philanthropy. We talked about Maslow's hierarchy of need, right? Being part of something bigger than yourself. We're talking about the ultimate happiness, guys. The ultimate happiness. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm not as exciting as my mother is, because she's way richer than I am. But I was in the Air Force, right, for a little while. Then I won Miss Nebraska. That's how I got into banking. I met a guy through banking. When I was, I was doing an event when I was Miss Nebraska. He asked me what I wanted to do after I was done with college. I said, I'm thinking about joining a bank. He's like, interesting. I work at a bank. He gives me his card, and he's president of First National Bank. So he said, call me when you're done with your degree. I called him. 3 weeks later, I had an interview with the director of HR. They gave me a book that was about this thick, slid it across the table, and they said, pick a job, any job. I'm not joking. That's how I got into banking, seriously. And so that pageant, being Miss Nebraska, gave me access to going to a charity event. If I sat around and didn't talk to nobody, I wouldn't have been able to meet him. And that's exactly that's why I'm here today, is it was part of that path. I do make six figures, over six figures as a business banker. I'm a single parent. I have a 20-month-old daughter. I'm also the director. These are my personal goals. I want to make more money, but my mom said, you don't need to make no money. You need to spend less. You need to save more. You have plenty of money. Remember, we're talking about a beautician. She has a hair license. She has a beautician's license. It's not about making more money. She's right. It's not about making more money. It's about saving more money. I want to get married. Why? Because I want to be happy like the rest of y'all. Okay? I want a big house. I want to look successful because I want to be happy. I debated today back and forth whether I was going to tell y'all this story that just happened to me. Do y'all want to hear it? Well, you guys are going to have to hear it because I put it up on the board. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and tell you the story. So I had a personal story. I didn't do very well at BB&T last year. So I get a surprise meeting on January 31st. My boss says, we're going to transfer you. You're not really cutting, the standards here. So we're going to put you in a new division. We're going to create a small business banking in all of Washington, D.C., and we're going to have you be one of the small business bankers. And the way it works in the bank is, you're a teller, you're a personal banker, you're a business banker, and then after you're a business banker, you can be a commercial banker, then a corporate banker. So I'm in the business banking level, and he said, well, we're going to create a new division called small business, and we're going to put you down there. So I was like, wow, I wasn't a small business banker. I was a small business banker in 2001 to 2005. So I'm going way back. So I cried all weekend long. I probably cried about 30 hours over the weekend. I just cried and cried. And everybody's telling me it's okay, God has a plan. And all I'm hearing was, I just got demoted. I'm a loser. Nobody wants me. I can't seem to get this right. And I just prayed about it. I said, God, I don't know what plan you have for me, but let this be what it's supposed to be. So then I started doing well. I mean, it was one of those things where if you're on a team where everybody is doing excellent and they move you on a team and you're the only person that has experience, you can do nothing but excellent work. So that's what I've been doing. I was just praying every day, reading every day, just saying, God, just manage the entire region for small business. On this date, which was just a couple of weeks ago, the most exciting part is since I started in this new role, our team in the month of February and in April, we were #1 in the entire bank. We just got recognized last Friday for it. And that is 23 markets. So we are #1, Washington, D.C. And you got to think about it. I was just a loser this day. But now I'm looking pretty good, okay? But my whole thing is God has a plan for you in your life. Sometimes you got to go back to go forward. He knows your path. He don't need your help. He knows exactly what he's doing. So when I talk about happiness, I talk about foundations, money management, okay? So you got to have a good money management strategy, a good personal strategy, a good success strategy, but you got to get out of your comfort zone. Now, where's Barbara at? She was over here wobbling with us. Where's Barbara? Okay, Barbara. We were up here doing the wobble, right? We were wobbling. Wow. She didn't know what she was doing, right? She came out of here. She was a little off at first, but she got better. As time went on, she got better. And I presume if we would have reran the song, she would have had it down. Okay, so let's give Barbara a hand. That's how you grow. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Some of y'all are in your comfort zone. And some of y'all, God, are doing things in your life right now to get you out of your comfort zone. But you can't see because you're so focused on that problem or that issue or a million things you got to do. You just need to step back and just let God do what he's got to do. Get out of the way. He don't need your help. Stop reading Facebook and watching BS drama. Okay, this is to me too. Facebook will make you depressed, okay? I'm on Facebook scrolling. Someone got a new BMW. I'm like, dang, Someone's on a vacation, to Tahiti, scrolling down some more. My friend just is skydiving, and I'm like, what the heck? I got another friend, her husband just, it was her birthday, so he had got a limo, put her whole family in a limo. They showed up to the event. Her whole family members were there. Her family's his side. It's her birthday. I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. So if you're on Facebook all day, it's gonna depress you. You can't compare yourself to anybody else because their path ain't your path. The chances are y'all aren't gonna be in the Air Force, probably not gonna be Miss Nebraska. That was my path. You have your story. You write your own book. So going back to the drama, what you put in must come out. They say what goes up must come right. Same thing with who we are and what we choose to put in ourselves, what we watch, all that stuff. The Bible tells us, I'm sorry, I'm not a pastor, but the Bible tells us the eyes are the windows to the soul. Okay, so it's one of those things, but be mindful of what you have in your space, including negative people. Be mindful of everything around you because what you put in is going to come on out. Your path is different. God does not need your help. I'm going to tell you a story about my friend Arlene. It was her birthday last Friday, and she's reading all these relationship books. She want a man so bad. She's 33, never been married, don't have any children. She want a man so bad, and she is gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, has a law degree, got it together. I mean, on paper, just perfect. And absolutely gorgeous. Anybody interested in a Dominican girl that's 20, 33? Okay. All right, just making sure. I'm always trying to scout out a guy for her. But anyway, so Arlene is telling me about all these relationship books she's reading. And she's like, okay, so she's dating this new guy. First, she's on eHarmony. I told her, get off of eHarmony. She's like, no, I want to be on eHarmony. I want to be on Match, blah, blah, blah. I said, get off of there. She don't listen. She's on Match. eHarmony. She's meeting all these guys. She meets this one guy. She's like, well, the book says you have to wait 24 hours before you call him back. And I said, okay, whatever, Arlene. So she waits 24 hours, and then she's like, and then it's like, another thing happens. And then she goes, well, the book says after he does this, then I need to do this. I'm going to wait a week before I text him back. I'm like, are you serious? Long story short, it was her birthday on Saturday, and she's been doing all these crazy things, this guy. If it was me and I was a guy, I'd be like, peace out. I am going to holler at this other girl. Okay, because you're just too much. This is a true life story. And so she is crying on her birthday. I'm talking to her Saturday night, and I'm like, Arlene, life is not a textbook. Just because someone writes a relationship book, they're selling books, number one. Number two, it's a guide. It's not, life doesn't happen that way. There's a certain amount of things that are going to happen in your life that God has already dispositioned out into the universe that's going to happen to you. And our life changes just that fast. I said, Arlene, just go with it. Roll with it. Come on, just go. You don't need this, that, and the other. That's not how life works. Me and my mom talked about the fact that I don't have a man, right? This is what she's always wanting to talk about every time. It doesn't matter how many times a day we talk. That comes up first for some reason. And I told my mom, I'm not about this or that. Like, to me, it has to come, and it has to be from God. And me and my mom, we're on the same page, and she's like, you can't make love happen. You can't make things happen in your life. It just has to, the doors have to open up. You just got to keep walking. You just keep walking from faith to faith, what good is faith, if you can see everything God has in front of you? If you would have told me 20, 30, 40 years ago that I would be stationed in Nebraska, I'd be like, yeah, right. If you would have told me I would have went to Miss USA, I would have said, yeah, right. If you would have said, you're going to have a 20-month-old child right now, I would have said no, because I would wait till I'm married. But don't judge people, because you're going to end up being in their situation. So if you married, don't judge the single, and if you single, don't judge the married. So it's one of those things where this is humbling to me, because I was like, this is the way I'm going to do things. But God has a different plan for me than I have for myself. So it's one of those things where get into agreement with him. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be struggling all your life if you do not get into agreement with him. I want to talk about a diamond, and I'm going to finish because I need to finish because I can ramble. If a diamond fell to the floor, if I dropped it, blam, and a whole bunch of people walked by it, does it make it any less? Exactly. So you are no less of that hidden jewel. You are no less. Because people don't recognize it, they don't see it. Don't worry about that. God sees it. Your mom sees it. Your best friend sees it. So you are no less than a diamond. If you're interested in a guy and he ain't paying you attention and he's walking by you, trust me, there's going to be somebody there that's going to recognize that you are the diamond that you are, and they're going to treat you in every way like that. And that's the same thing with everything in life. You know, it's interesting because I was about to get my walking papers on January 31st, but now I'm on company-wide conference calls telling people what they should and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? Praise God. So your path is different. You are that diamond. So I want you to remember that. Anytime you're feeling sad or down on yourself, I want you to remember the diamond fell to the floor. If someone walked by, it doesn't make it any less. You are no less than that. Thank you so much for having me today.